Yes, yes, so Hairless here. Today we have a poll winner. It was a very close poll. You can vote on these polls over on Patreon completely free. Carlos Santana is a Mexican-American guitarist who apparently rose to fame at 1969 Woodstock. I had never heard of him, and he's been around for a while because this song, Smooth, is from 1999. It's featuring Rob Thomas as the singer, another artist I don't know whether to be embarrassed or not by this. Maybe I should be, because it's a super popular song apparently, with nearly 450 million views on YouTube. It won 3 Grammys. Very exciting stuff. So without further ado, let's get straight into this one. Yeah, people in the poll comments did say it's a very smooth song, which it is, clearly. Let's do a quick pause, and before you berate me in the comments for pausing, I have to pause for copyright reasons. You know, I don't like it, you don't like it, but it just is what it is. I tried to play for like a minute or so and then pause, and we have been listening, for a minute. So, I'll use this time to mention just a couple of the more standout things for me. The introduction was very interesting. We're hearing other songs, with, of course, the other background noises. These other songs that we're hearing are in a completely different key as well. But they're connected through percussion. It's just really interesting, super, super unexpected. And immediately, because of this chord progression and the rhythms that we're hearing, we can tell that this is a very Latin style of music. Super, super funky. It just makes your shoulders want to go, doesn't it? Lovely guitar introduction. This is, I assume, Santana. I love the brass there, the trumpets coming in the background. It just transports me. It feels weird listening to this type of music where I am now. I feel like I should be on a beach in Mexico or something. And then when Rob Thomas starts singing, we'll listen to it, but it immediately reminded me of a different song. The song is a completely different style. I usually wouldn't mention this, but I just find it fascinating how you can have basically the same melody, even the same singing style, but you shuffle around the harmony, give it some Latin instrumentation with the brass and the iconic bass line. And of course, the super funky percussion that is so integral to this funky Latin sound. And the songs can just sound so different. So, man, it's a hot one, like 7 inches from the midday sun. Now I'll play a clip of the song it reminds me of, only a few seconds because of copyright. And you can tell me if you hear the similarities I'm talking about or not. Just FYI, the other song came out 2 years before this. So the other song came out in 1997. The effects on Rob Thomas's voice. Well, I hear you whispering the words and melt everyone. Super interesting. I feel they added a sort of dark element to his voice, to the song, like his voice is being a little bit smudged or something. I think it definitely gives the song a bit more of a mysterious feel, a little bit less clean. And I've mentioned the Latin chord progression that we're hearing underneath. It's super simple, just 3 chords repeated over and over. And of course, moving here to here, chromatic. And the chromaticism just gives it a bit of a, you know? From the midday sun, well, I hear you whispering the words and melt every
one, but you stay so cool.
Just there is the only time we actually deviate away from those three chords, which we could really hear in the bass. Dum, dum, dum. So we have the usual three chords, but then it falls again with a seventh note in there just to make it a bit more funky. And then that bass line goes down. Don't worry too much about what the notes are, but we can really hear the dissonance that creates. A harsh sound to it. If I just rearrange those notes, then we get... You can just see it's like a cluster there on the piano. And that falling bass line. Lovely falling passage underneath the very funky music. Super cool. Let's carry on.
And if you said this life ain't good enough, I would give my world to lift you up. I could change my life to better suit your mood, because you're so smooth. And it's just like the ocean under the moon. It's the same as the emotion that I get from you. You got the kind of loving that can be so smooth. Yeah, give me your heart and make it real, or else forget about it. But I'll tell you one thing: if you would leave it be a crying shame. In every breath and every word, I hear your name calling me out. Without from the body, you hear my rhythm on your radio. You feel the turning of the world, so soft and slow, turning you round and round. And if you said this life ain't good enough.
All right, so this is the chorus again now, I think. I like how the melody just jumps up as we move into the chorus.
And if you said this life ain't good enough.
And then just sinks straight back down to where we were before. That jump up is a real contrast to the really interesting effect and way of singing of the verses that are lower down, that sort of muffled effect. And then when the chorus sinks back down, that creates even further contrast to the added vocal harmony we now have above.
This life ain't good enough.
Simple harmony, just two lines, but super effective. It makes me want to sing along. It's smooth, you know? I mean, the song is called Smooth, and I can confirm it is smooth. Very groovy.
Groovy, baby.
I also like the little guitar riffs we get leading into the chorus as well.
Slow turning you round and round. And if you said
Fairly subtle, not too long. I think it's just the right amount. Like Santana is very carefully sprinkling in some guitar solo dust. I mentioned the upper harmony in the chorus, but it's really important as well to, I think, just point out the lower harmony that we get prior to the chorus.
you hear my rhythm on your radio.
Listening in headphones, I can hear the lower voice in my left ear and the other voice in the right ear. Well, both, but mostly the right ear. So if you're not listening in headphones, it will be a very different type of sound for you. But with this type of music, there's just so much going on, so many different layers. It's really kind of intricate if you think about all the different layers that are going on, especially the rhythms. And that's what just gives it a really funky feel, right? All these different instruments with their different independent melodies and all their rhythms, a lot of syncopations and their dotted rhythms, you know, like jumpy ta-ta-ta type rhythms. So that's why I think the harmonies that we get, when we do get them, they are kept very limited, just two lines. Otherwise, there's a real danger of the sound just becoming too much. And the lines that we do here are really nice. So we have that bass line descending, dum 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 dum, and then above it, so they're kind of, you know, like that. Yeah, it's good.
So soft and slow, turning you round and round.
There was a really interesting moment earlier on, a very unexpected, sudden chord change.
Because you're so smooth. And it's just like the
And then it goes back. So that chord change we get, it's just enough to make us go like, ooh, what was that?
because you're so smooth.
before then returning to the repetitive Latin 3-chord progression. And when I say repetitive, I don't mean that in a bad way. It just is. It's basically those 3 chords over and over and over. Repetition, I believe anyway, is usually what makes a song catchy. It allows us to get in the groove because when something's repeated, we learn it much quicker. We're familiar with it. Of course, there's a risk of something becoming too samey or a bit boring if it's repeated, but not in this case. And that's where every other musical element becomes even more important. Chuck in a harmony line there below, then chuck in a harmony line above. Oh, let's get in some trumpets. Let's change up the rhythms and the percussion. Let's sprinkle in a short little guitar solo, just like we actually get here after the unexpected chord. Yeah, super fun song. It looks like everyone is having an absolutely great time in the video. Let's continue. If you enjoy these videos, please consider supporting me. You can buy me a coffee or hot chocolate, join our Patreon for loads of additional content that's not available on YouTube, or become a YouTube member for these groovy emojis and membership badges. All options are linked below, and a special thanks to everyone on the screen. Back to the video.
And if you said this life ain't good enough, I'll give my world to lift you up. I could change my life to better suit your mood, because you're so smooth. And it's just like the ocean under the moon. It's the same as the emotion that I get from you. You got the kind of love that can be so smooth. Yeah. Give me your heart, make it real, or else forget about it.
Sorry, I want to listen to that again.
Real, or else forget about it.
Sorry, and again, that little chromatic line up there. Quite discordant, all things considered. I won't get into the harmony and bore you with it. But these 2 lines in parallel motion moving up chromatically together, harmonically not really in line with what we've been hearing elsewhere. And then we're back. Oh yeah, super fun song. It makes you want to go and join that street party. I'd be way too shy to dance like these people are. Looks like a great time. He's crossing himself. Yeah, really fun song. And I think it's so important how they kind of keep the song interesting, because like I said before, if you have just 3 chords repeated over and over and over, you are naturally going to have to do things to break it up. And I like how they're not shying away from this. Sometimes you think, oh, I'm going to have to transition smoothly into something a little bit different, but no, they just go boom.
Or else forget about it.
It's really quite extreme if you actually think about it. Like, you're listening to the song, you're getting in the groove, and everything just suddenly stops. A surefire way to grab your attention as a listener, I think. And then before you even have time to really comprehend what's happened, we're back in the groove, your shoulders start moving again, and your hips start swaying. I like how it fades out at the end as the music is getting more intense. We can hear that in the vocals, we can hear it in the guitar parts. The rhythms are starting to become a bit more regimented, actually. Da, 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 that you can hear in the guitar there. And I do like how the actual melody itself, even though it's repeated, has now moved higher up, just like we saw the move up in the chorus. But yeah, I guess it's a great way to end, just this energy, just energy, energy, energy. And there's something strangely infinite or eternal about having this higher energy as it fades out. You just think it's going to go on forever and ever, this party. It's just continuing, and for a groovy, funky song like this, especially if you enjoy it, I think that's only ever going to be a good thing. A super smooth song, I just have to say it. And I apologize for not knowing Santana or Rob Thomas. Well, now I do, and this is probably quite a good introduction to the both of them. So if you want to see more Santana and Rob Thomas on the channel, like the video to let me know. Comment down below the songs that you'd like to see me do. And if you don't want to write any words, then let's go for an emoji. Today's emoji will be the dancing emoji, like you see on the screen now. Thank you for watching, really appreciate it, especially if you made it this far, and I will see you in the next one.